Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, By Watching Me in the Kitchen Just to Beg for More Food and Quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Every evening, just as the sky softened into a dusty orange glow and the day began to exhale its last breath of heat, I stepped into the kitchen to prepare dinner. It was my quiet ritual, washing vegetables, rinsing rice, listening to the gentle rhythm of water against metal bowls. In these small routines, I found a calm that the busy hours of the day rarely allowed. But I was never truly alone. Somewhere between the refrigerator and the corner near the old wooden cabinet, a pair of eyes would appear. He never announced his presence with barking or scratching. Instead, he materialized like a silent shadow, padding softly across the floor until he positioned himself just close enough to be noticed, but not close enough to be told to leave. At first glance, he looked like a statue carved from patience. At second glance, he was clearly calculating. His ears tilted forward. His nose twitched with each new scent released into the air. His tail rested perfectly still, conserving energy like a professional strategist waiting for the right moment to strike. The first time I noticed his routine, I pretended not to see him. The second time, I caught him slowly inching forward, one paw at a time. By the third evening, I realized this was no coincidence. I had a mission, and that mission was food. When I sliced chicken, his eyes brightened. When I stirred soup, he inhaled deeply as if trying to memorize the aroma. When the sound of oil sizzling filled the kitchen, he leaned forward slightly, the movement so subtle it could have been mistaken for a shift in breathing. If I turned suddenly, he froze. If I looked away, he resumed his silent advance. It was a slow-motion negotiation between human and dog, one pretending not to notice, the other pretending not to beg. And yet, the air between us carried an unspoken agreement. He was hoping, and I was resisting. At least for a while. I never barked for food. That would have been too obvious, too desperate, too easy to refuse. Instead, he practiced the art of emotional persuasion. He sighed. Not a dramatic sigh, just a soft, almost poetic exhale that carried the weight of 1,000 untasted meals. He shifted his weight. He looked at me, then at the pot, then back at me. He lowered his head slightly, as if burdened by the tragedy of being a dog in a world full of delicious human cooking. And when I still resisted, he deployed the ultimate weapon, eye contact. There is something profoundly disarming about a dog's eyes. They do not accuse. They do not demand. They simply hold a quiet hope that feels far heavier than any spoken request. I tried to stay strong. You already ate, I would say, stirring the pan. His ears twitched. He did not move. He did not argue. He simply continued believing. Sometimes I tested him by stepping out of the kitchen. Within seconds, I would hear the faint click of his nails on tile as he repositioned himself closer to the stove, as if proximity alone might improve his chances. Other times, I deliberately dropped a carrot slice to see his reaction. He sniffed it politely, then looked at me with gentle disappointment. Carrots were not the objective. I was not reckless. He was selective, strategic. He wanted the good stuff. Chicken, fish, brothy rice soaked in flavor. And if patience were currency, I was a millionaire. One evening, after nearly 20 minutes of silent observation, he slowly lowered himself onto the floor, resting his chin on his paws while continuing to watch me cook. The pose was one of surrender, yet his eyes remained alert, as if to say, I will wait. I have nowhere else to be. In that moment, I realized something surprising. He wasn't only waiting for food. He was waiting for connection, for acknowledgement, for the small ritual we unknowingly shared each night. When dinner was finally ready, I scooped a small portion of plain chicken and rice into his bowl. The transformation was instant. His tail began to wag in wide, joyful arcs. His ears perked. His eyes sparkled with gratitude so pure it felt undeserved for such a small offering. To him, it was not leftovers. It was love. Over time, Bai's kitchen routine became part of the rhythm of our home. The quiet padding of his feet on the tile floor signaled the transition from the busy world outside to the gentle calm inside our walls. In today's fast-moving life, where phones buzz constantly, meals are rushed, and attention is divided into tiny fragments, these silent moments with Bai feel increasingly meaningful. He does not care about deadlines. He does not worry about tomorrow. He does not scroll, rush, or multitask. He simply shows up, sits beside me, and waits with patient faith. Bai reminds me that presence is a gift. His quiet companionship turns an ordinary act like cooking into a shared experience. He teaches me that love often appears in small, repetitive rituals rather than grand gestures. From him, I have learned that patience can be powerful. Instead of demanding, he trusts. Instead of noise, he offers calm persistence. And in a world full of loud requests and constant urgency, that quiet sincerity stands out. Our relationship also reflects something deeply valuable about the bond between humans and animals. Animals depend on us not only for food and shelter, but also for emotional connection, safety, and kindness. In return, they offer loyalty, comfort, and a form of companionship that asks for nothing but care and presence. Bai's hopeful gaze reminds me to be more compassionate, not only toward animals, but toward people as well. Everyone carries silent needs. Not all requests are spoken aloud. Sometimes, what someone truly needs is acknowledgement, warmth, or simply to feel seen. If we slow down, we begin to notice these quiet signals. If we respond with kindness, trust grows. If we create small rituals of care, relationships deepen. Living with animals teaches responsibility, empathy, and patience, qualities that modern life often pushes aside in the rush for productivity and efficiency. By caring for them, we become gentler versions of ourselves. We learn to nurture rather than control, to listen rather than command, and to give without expecting immediate return. Each evening, when I finally place Bai's bowl on the floor, his joyful gratitude reminds me of a simple truth. Happiness does not always come from abundance. Sometimes it comes from being noticed, being cared for, and sharing a moment of warmth. In a world that moves quickly, we can learn from Bai. Slow down and be present. Practice patience instead of pressure. Show love through small daily actions. Care for animals with responsibility and kindness. Recognize silent needs in both animals and people, because in the quiet corners of everyday life, between the stove and the soft padding of paws on tile, we discover something profound. Love often arrives without noise, and sometimes it waits patiently in the kitchen.